I am a very happy man, because PowerWash Simulator is finally coming out of early access on July 14th for PC, Xbox Series X and S, and Xbox One. Not only that, it's coming to Xbox Game Pass on PC and consoles. So if you have Game Pass on any of those platforms, I cannot recommend PowerWash Simulator enough. I was fortunate enough to receive a review code for this last year. I did a Game & Watch for it here on GameXplain. This was the early access version, and let me tell you, I was hooked on it. It is such a satisfying game. There are a bit of qualms I have even with the final release, which I'm going to talk about right here, but the final experience is an absolute delight. And if you're looking for a satisfying experience, then you might want to try out PowerWash Simulator. It has been a while since I played it in early access, so a lot of these changes were new to me, such as actually having a player avatar and not just some empty space holding a power washer. So if I'm talking about a feature that was already there during early access, just keep in mind I haven't played it in quite a few months. However, the game still rocks in its final form, and the first thing I noticed right off the bat are the graphics, and while this game visually isn't much of a looker, it's not trying to be a technical showcase on realism, it does look impressive with some really good reflections and water physics. It looks absolutely wonderful. Of course, you're not going to stop and stare at the game's graphics while playing. You're going to be busy power washing houses, cars, and Mars rovers. I'll get to that in a bit, but if you've never heard of PowerWash Simulator, it's exactly what it sounds like. You play as a power washer, you take on jobs throughout the city, cleaning cars, cleaning houses, cleaning massive structures, and those will really put your power washing skills to the test. And I'll say right off the bat, this game, of course, is not for everyone. It's not an action-packed game by any sense of the word. It is quite literally a game where you power wash things. And honestly, it works very well. There's all kinds of dirt to spray off, rust to spray off, and it's going to take all kinds of different gear to get the certain elements off. You might even have to buy some soap in order to get some of the really stubborn messes off. It's just like actual power washing, except power washing in real life, from what I've seen, is way more messy and requires a lot more cleanup. Here, the dirt just disappears. It's not a super realistic game, but you know, it's not trying to be, even hence the word simulator in the title, because if it was super realistic, it wouldn't be fun, and you'd actually take fall damage, and you can fall from all kinds of heights in this game and not die. It's kind of great. But how the game works essentially is through career mode, you take on certain jobs in order to gain cash, and you can use the cash to buy better power washers, additional equipment like extenders, and soap that works on different textures like wood and metal. The game keeps track of your progress by basically paying you per section that you clean off. Like, you can clean off an entire wall, it'll ding, and then you get some money. You could even pause jobs and take on a different job and come back to that job later in case you're looking for a change of scenery. And if you're having trouble seeing the dirt, pressing tab on the keyboard will show you where the dirt is. And speaking of keyboard controls, it works really well with mouse and keyboard. I've been playing it that way for over a year now. However, I did try out the Xbox controller for a bit, and it works really well there too, especially with the new camera control that lets you free aim on one screen. If I had to compare it to anything, it's kind of like the Wii first-person shooters like Metroid Prime 3, GoldenEye, stuff like that. It works really well on both controller and mouse and keyboard, and you can cover a lot of ground that way real quick, especially if you're doing a time trial. And if you want to replay missions from the career mode, you can go into free play and wash the cars and the houses to your heart's content. There's even some special jobs that aren't exactly jobs, but you can play them if you want. There's an area on Mars where you clean off a rover, you can power wash an old train engine, and a weird garden gnome fountain. I don't know what that's all about. So I said at the beginning that I really enjoy PowerWash Simulator, but why is that? It's not exactly a complicated game, you're just cleaning stuff. What's the deal with that? I clean stuff in real life, it's not that fun. What makes it fun in a video game? Well, imagine you're coming home from a long day of work and you just want to sit back and relax. This is where PowerWash Simulator comes in. There's no music, it's just ambiance and the spraying of the power washer. And you know what I love doing while playing PowerWash Simulator? I love putting on a podcast, putting on a YouTube video in the background, and just listening to it while I'm doing my job, or at least my in-game job of power washing. It is just very satisfying to see something super dirty, only to finish the level and it is clean as a whistle. Of course, the game is not perfect. Some of these levels do get overwhelming to the point where I do need to stop and do something else, especially when I start a level that's just filled to the brim with dirt everywhere. But I do come back to it with the intent of actually finishing the level and seeing how good of a job I do with my power washing. But one complaint I do have though is that some of the areas are really hard to clean off, and even when I'm spraying something that I know looks clean, there's like a bit of dirt left that's preventing me from finishing the level. I've run into that a few times, but I always found out where the dirt was and I wound up completing the level. So that's where I'm at with PowerWash Simulator. Not a game for everybody, but if you're looking to sit down and relax and wind down with a relaxing game that maybe you can play while listening to a podcast or even a TV show, then PowerWash Simulator is that game. I've put in 20 hours into PowerWash Simulator from early access, and I can't wait to continue playing the final version on Steam, and maybe I'll check it out on Xbox Game Pass as well, especially now that there's a co-op mode, which I haven't unfortunately been able to try out, but maybe I will try it out with some of my friends through Xbox Game Pass. But my verdict with PowerWash Simulator is that I like it a lot. Some of the things that hold it back are those hard to see dirt that prevents you from finishing levels, but other than that, I really enjoy it and I highly recommend it. But thank you so much for watching this review here on GameXplain. Let me know if you played PowerWash Simulator or plan on playing PowerWash Simulator in the comments below, and be sure to check out the videos on the right for more topics you might be interested in. Until next time, everyone, bye.